Hola,
Hey,
hola, how's camping, Kyle?
The camping was beautiful, the sleeping was not. So beautiful.
Exhausted?
I talked to Sylvia Garcia, Frank Gonzalez of Sylvia Garcia's office today, because I was walking the dogs. I signed myself up for a Garmin step challenge.
A what step challenge?
It's like a step challenge.
Oh, wow.
So I have to get 300,000 by the end of the month,
Wow, that's a lot.
10,000 a day.
That's a lot.
But, he was saying, that Sylvia Garcia is probably gonna host another town hall about like rights and stuff like that, because I am pretty confident as well, I started down the streets, like stopping and turning for my neighbors' houses. So I got 20 years together.
Well, good for you.
And
Do you have,
I don't, I'm sorry,
do you have any of those right cards?
I don't, but I have these guys from Aiden Garcia.
I feel.
Hi.
Hey, girl, how are you?
You're good, we're.
I did. Why did you feel? In what way?
I thought the sick was hot.
Oh.
Yeah, here, so maybe that was actually a strategy.
Yeah, I was gonna
More than
say,
like
no, that's
a lot.
exactly right. Yeah, no, you always have to, and when I was doing weddings, I would always tell me, you know, when the rehearsal was supposed to start.
Yeah.
But tell them it started, I have our.
Hey, wow.
Hi, Chris.
All right, thanks, how are you feeling?
Pretty good, pretty good. This is
It's a lot.
absolutely the journey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what have you learned so far?
Campaign signs in Houston are 8 foot by 4 foot,
Okay,
not 6 by 3.
okay.
You wanna know how my sister and I decided?
Yes,
I did a restaurant and you know, the little floor tiles are 1 by 1, so I stood on one side. Like this, and I'm like, that's 3. And she stood on the other side. That's how we measured.
Okay, so now you know.
Yeah, now we know.
How many?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can move that up if you want. That's probably a
Oh,
smart
I'm
idea.
not worried about it as long as,
We can raise.
because Carol Alvarado's speaking, which is part of the reason I was like, make sure people from Polk is here,
Oh,
so that they can chase her out.
here's what this,
We got 2 sets, we got a set.
and then this will be
The long
low,
version and then a set of these tall. So.
You think that,
somewhere in the middle.
That's
So
fine.
this will be the walking area.
We'll be fine.
Careful.
I'm gonna do this though, so it's not just swinging everywhere. Do we check these?
yeah.
So I had someone calling up, probably like looking through HCAT, finding the owners, and calling up folks and. Yeah, we talked to a couple of them and they were like, you're the first one who's called. But there are like 10 signs on it.
Yeah, already.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
plus we know some property owners, so those were. Those, but it's more trying to figure out.
That goes in the back of the machine.
I was gonna ask, how did you decide that?
We looked at the areas that we wanted to fit.
Okay, check those.
Is this the first time you've got brought?
Yep.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I've covered many campaigns.
Which one is that?
This is number 2.
Run mile.
Okay.
That's
For a number, you know.
Okay, hang
What
on.
time did you do the run?
I was already going to work and wanted to come in last week, so.
All right, checking this one. Oh, there it is, there it is. Okay, cool.
But like most things like that, they're not like.
I'm gonna move this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just talking
That's-
to.
Is it because we normally have this like kind of back a little more?
Yeah, I think it is.
Here.
Maybe we should do that.
Times. And I talked to them.
The only problem is the microphone should not be in front of the speaker, because then you get to do that.
And then.
So just,
We haven't had any issues yet.
yeah, try it a little bit. See what happens.
All right,
All
all right, checking this. So far, it's okay.
Try it right in front of the mic. See what happens.
a lot of, I interned.
You gotta get that.
Yeah.
The Ashley owners,
Well, Carol's calling you.
Well, tell her to,
Try
They
it.
drive,
Right there.
every time I would drive by in the grass.
Yes.
are you with the sustainability crew? With the sustainability crew? Okay, perfect.
How are you?
I'm good. I got your slides in here, so, we'll go through.
Growing up time.
Yeah.
New York time.
Tell me what it is.
Said something, but Chris might want to say something
I got it down.
about the deed restrictions thing that I emailed, that I texted about.
Cool.
I'll let her take it forward.
All right, sounds good.
So you know,
I've got you. Oh, no, I was just, I had you first in the president notes, but like, you gotta get through just a couple things first. So meeting minutes, then you, and then we're gonna go through a slew of stuff.
Okay.
You can stay for that if you want, but you don't have to.
So, for me, American University, every time we type it out, I would say. Yeah, so, then Middle Georgia, Memphis. And then back home.
oh, yeah. So you're not doing journals now?
No,
What do you do for money?
consultant.
Okay.
Primarily I work on workforce development programs, apprenticeships and internships where nonprofits and businesses are more interested in having. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So they work.
Between that and business advice.
What shall I get ready to argue about?
It's kind of.
I don't think there's anything to argue about this one. We're gonna go through some project updates. You might get upset at those.
Which ones?
Polk Street,
Yeah, we
Scott's-
lost
Leland Street that's still under.
messing with Leland too. Oh, the street.
Mhm. Yep, and then 419 Emancipation.
Yeah, we've lost that.
Uh,
But you know what? That was a women's shelter.
it was, but now it's gonna be low barrier, meaning everybody straight out of TDCJ and.
Yeah,
and
but
they're-
these people, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I think the people that live in Edu just don't want it there.
It's mostly Setagast.
Huh?
It's mostly Setagast that's upset.
Why? They must have had something planned.
Is the.
No, I think
Getting a team.
that they've been, I think there's a concern about, if there's overflow, where does everybody go?
Backyard.
So
Crazy.
But to
That's-
get them off the street. I mean, I'm.
I think most people are fine with the idea on paper.
Yeah.
And I think there's that, and then there's also kind of a mindset of, why here? Because there's already 12 other shelters. Why isn't any other part of town also getting something like this?
Because we're the closest to downtown.
Why is downtown not get it?
Shit, it's too, the land is too expensive. Where could they possibly put it?
I'm just,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
because there's already so many others, like, why are we the only ones with such a big heart?
So we have big hearts.
We do, but that's what I'm
Put it in
hearing.
River Oaks.
That's what people were saying. You wouldn't put this in the Heights of River Oaks. Why here?
But I don't,
Um,
that's way over there.
From what I
Because of all the
understand is that
data.
it's so, and from our perspective, the thought is we're sandwiched between Greyhound and that one, and they're right next to the train to go back and forth. So if that's a concern to you, you just gotta let your council member know. That's all I can
Well,
suggest.
for once, I don't even, I'm the opposite. I'm not arguing over it,
I mean,
which is unusual. I mean, how long has it been since I came to Civic Club?
you've been out for a while. You've been
I've
sitting.
spent June, July, August, September in the hospital. This time I'll stop.
Oh, God.
I woke up and I was intubated
Yeah.
in ICU at Methodist, and I thought, this is it. I
Yeah, which you seem super energetic right now.
Yeah. I've been working. You know, I'm banging on the bed for them to get the tube out. You know me.
No, you're not gonna tolerate, nope, you don't want that.
So the dog. But
But yeah, we should have some pretty good things today. We're gonna talk about tree plantings and dog park openings
oh,
and
good.
lots of good
We're
stuff.
gonna try to do some more plannings on park.
I think that the team looked at a heat map to determine the hottest parts of the neighborhood and are splitting it up between that and identifying children's routes to schools and shading those.
And the tree's gonna be planted in the median, I mean, in the.
Some are they're gonna be planted in the right of way and they're
Right.
also gonna be also at MC Cullinan Park right there by Navarro Middle School.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. What I don't like is that ancillary parking lot for the school. It has no trees. It's got to be the ugliest thing on earth.
I know.
That's just my opinion. Trying to be good.
You're good, you're good. You're just energetic today and that's great. You are.
Soda.
You got your work cut out for you. She's energetic today. You got your work cut. I'm here. We're here.
What's that?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We got our location for next year,
Yay.
even though I know you're not going to be with us.
Where is it? No, well, I was gonna come and meet, so.
Ironworks.
It works nice.
They're gonna give it to the schools?
Where exactly, like in the back?
They have a new rental space in the back that they're gonna let us take free because it's Monday nights.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Actually pretty excited about it. 'Cause it's like it's got like shops and food places and I'm like, can we bring food in there? Like, can we have like snacks and activities? What's that look like?
Yes. Create your, yeah, like your networking, like associate your relations with the vendors and all that. Yeah.
No,
Okay, did you send us this?
I did not.
Alright, that's okay. I was trying to like set it up so I could be like, that's fine. I'll do it.
Do you want me to send it to you now? Really?
I don't know why. I stopped stressing about it.
Well, because Carol Alvarado is gonna speak, so you might have time.
That's fine.
I have been like completely discombobulated today. So I'm over here like, I did forget to send that out. I was also finalizing stuff up until like, very tired today.
That's okay. Yeah, I was doing this right just right now. Yeah, like it just one thing.
The one thing about the membership that I thought about after we had our meeting, I reported, we had some trick or treaters. Yeah, so I'm starting to just wonder.
The thing is, like, no one's being forced.
That's just what I'm thinking. I'm just worried about the time right now. Because I literally just put together a whole post about food insecurity and things like that. And I'm like,
I think, I'm not gonna lie, I think there should be like an actual discussion, like a meeting like this, before we start even putting it out there for the community. That's why I asked for a vote, because I was like, everyone is on the same page, because what happens if like, Lonnie gets asked that, okay, but why do you want to, and they don't know?
so like overall, I'm in support of it. I'm just wondering, do we need to have, I know that I guess we kind of have one volunteer on there. hardship option. I just want to make sure that we're being sensitive to.
Say, yeah, I mean, it's not because I'm like not coming back, right? But at the same time, this needs to be, if it's just, I'm saying it's big, so it needs to be rolled out with like, I'm not saying with everyone's approval, but with everyone's understanding. And I don't feel like we have it yet. That's what I think is the biggest thing. I mean, and if it takes time, I mean, it has to be rolled down next year, it's talked about it during the retreat, and if it's ever go.
I'm wondering if we could just see what the general feel is. Oh my God. I just think it's funny that I'm also just playing my garage.
I think it should be. I don't know, I think it should be.
I think we should do it.
Reiner, like the.
Yeah, so I don't think that's fair.
To December.
I'm okay, if you want me to put it on the presentation.
If you want, you can, but
I'm nice. I think. Or I can bring it up.
let's wait, let's do December, because this one's actually gonna be kind of long, unfortunately. That sounds like a bigger discussion.
I would say this.
It's brand new. It's not.
There's, it feels like there's.
I don't
I was able to put in the minutes on, oh no, but I, okay, so if you look for this, if you look for this one, it should be showing there on the drive. Cause I saved it before I came over here. And then you're gonna find my link to the minutes. Till November 2025 is the event. I just basically got that last month and put it. I need to modify. So it might look, it won't show until I get home.
Belondi's not gonna be here.
No?
I don't think for sure.
Matthew?
I have not seen Matthew.
Oh yeah, I did like 15, 16 sports yesterday. I did like 16, I think 60, 17. Yeah.
Matthew just walked in.
What's that? Sorry?
Yep, Matthew. Oh my God. I'm gonna go check, see if anybody's still signing in. Now or never, huh? Hey, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get started so we can stay on time, because as you know, I have loaded everybody up with information for this meeting. So welcome to the November 3rd Eastwood Civic Association General Membership Meeting. I see some new faces, so I'm Lindsay. I am the current president of the Eastwood Civic Association. We have several board members in attendance. Board members, y'all want to raise your hands? If you have any questions or feedback or anything in particular, you're always welcome to reach out to a board member. And we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. So we're gonna do just quick, I just did a quick intro. We're gonna say a quick welcome. Thank you, Kyle. There's always a technological thing going on. So it's not an Eastwood meeting without something going on with technology. So that's too loud. So we're gonna go through an elected officials update. So we do have a very special guest who's gonna speak first. Then we'll go through a treasurer report, secretary report. We've got a lot to cover in the president report with project updates, ECA elections, and also sustainability, talking about planting trees. Then we'll go through some upcoming events, and then we will adjourn from there. All right, so I do see some new faces, and I promise I'm not gonna make you speak, but if you wanted to raise your hand, it would be wonderful. Yay, thank you so much. Welcome, and we hope that this meeting is so helpful and informative that you keep coming back and keep, being involved. All right, so we are going to go to speak with our state senator, Carol Alvarado.
Good evening and thank you. I know y'all had a lot going on. We had National Night Out and we had the home tour, and I'm always pleased to help sponsor that. So I think this might be my first time in front of y'all since we ended the legislative session, because I came, I think, once while we were in session. But we had a lot going on, and I'll try to keep it as brief and concise as I can. Typically, we're there till the very beginning of June, but we were there till a little after maybe the 1st of September, because we had 2 special sessions. And, well, we just had a lot going on with redistricting, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the session started off pretty good. Notice I said started off pretty good. We went in with about a $24 billion surplus. We passed our budget, which is the only thing our Constitution says we really have to do. We passed our largest budget in the state's history, $338 billion budget. Now, keep in mind that is for 2 years, because we only meet every other year. And this was my first time to sit on finance, which was a lot of work, but you do get to really get deep into the budget, and I'll tell you about some of the wins that we had that I think are important for our area. We put an extra $8.4 billion in education, and a big part of that went to an across the board pay increase for teachers and staff, which is something that many of us had been pushing for every time we give a pay increase to teachers, and teachers really, they deserve more than what they're getting. But for the folks that support the schools, like the custodians, the bus drivers, the people that are cooking and serving in the kitchen, they will also get pay increase as well. So there were some good and not so good things that happened in education. The other piece was the voucher bill that passed, and that's something that I've been against ever since it was introduced, but I'm sure many of you are products of public schools. So this is money that will go for kids to go to private schools, but what we've seen in states where they've implemented vouchers is that they start out with a small amount, and then over time, there's more money being put into the voucher program and less into the public education system. And the money can go for kids to go to private school or to be homeschooled. So that's the choice that some parents will make. And what we also saw in other states is that the money went more to kids that were already in private schools and not necessarily, you know, bringing in new, economically disadvantaged kids. So that is a $1 billion investment, which I think could have gone a long way in our public education schools. So any educators or former educators in the audience?
Right,
Okay,
right behind you.
thank you, yes, absolutely. So we put, as I said, that $8.4 billion investment, and then, so that was the great news, and that was the pay increase, more money for school safety. We increased by $55 the basic allotment, per student. That's something that we've also been working to get bumped up, and so glad that we got that done. And then, we had some other bills in public safety that we passed. One will be on your ballot. So how many of you have not voted yet? Okay, please go out and vote. I know in our area, we have, the city council at large. We're not in the 18th. I don't think you are.
Well, some of us are.
Some of you.
Some of us are.
Most, I think.
Most are
on
not.
the 29th. But there are some propositions on the ballot. There are 17, the largest amount we've had in quite a number of years. And I'll just touch on a few, but the big one that obviously gets a lot of bipartisan support is property tax release. If you recall, last session, we increased the homestead exemption from $40,000 to $100,000. And this time we have, increased that to 140. If you are over 65 or disabled, it goes up to $200,000 homestead exemption. So there's that. Also, we put in, created a new program. Hopefully, y'all will vote for it. It will pass. But it is for dementia research, and that's about a $3 billion investment. We did that with cancer, and so it's called CPRIT. This one will be called DPRIT. And this will go for research for dementia, Alzheimer's, and we've all, I know, been touched in some way, a family member, we know someone, and as you know, there is no cure. But hopefully with this program, this will put Texas really on the cutting edge nationwide, maybe even worldwide with this program. Also, another item on the ballot tomorrow is bail reform, and that is judges will deny bail to some very serious offenses. So we're talking about like aggravated murder, just really, really bad crimes. So that will also be on the ballot, and then we have some things on here dealing with water that are making sure that we have enough reserves for water in years to come. So like I said, a lot of good things on here to pay attention to go out and vote. Also, what some of mine wins were, y'all know how I feel about the trains. And I was able to work with the chairman of transportation and get a $250 million grant program that is statewide, that cities and counties will be able to apply for. And this is for grade separations, either overpasses, underpasses, or pedestrian crosswalks. You may recall the Milby student that died tragically at the rail crossings over by Milby High School, and that was Sergio Rodriguez. We got $10 million to build a pedestrian crosswalk that will go over Broadway and O'Galveston Road. So Texas has the largest number of rail crossings, 9,000, more than any other state in the country. And in July, the Federal Railroad Administration said that in the previous 12 months, they had more complaints regarding rail crossings from Texas than any other state, over 7,300. 25% came from first responders who could not get to their destination, saving a life, which is responding to a call for service. And another piece of that was 21% that came from issues related to people jumping over the trains or crawling under. And those of us that have grown up here in the East End, we've been around this all of our lives. So we've been working with the East End Management District and other stakeholders, other elected officials. and trying to come up with some short-term goals, midterm and long-term when it comes to rail safety. So I know that the city, they're applying for some of that money. I really hope that this funds are used because I want to be able to go back to session when we return and say it was such a success and we need more of that. I still argue and advocate for the railroad companies to do their part, to be more responsible and accountable. And we have to have them at the table, so we do meet them, they are included in our discussions, and, so just, there's gonna be more to come on that, so. Then, of course, towards the end of session, we had the floods, the Central Texas floods. And so we've done some things there to address flooding and, youth camps being built in floodplain areas. And in the middle of all that came the redistricting battle. And this was something that took up 2 special sessions. And as you know, there were quorum breaks, filibuster attempts, and just all kinds of things. I thought last session we saw everything, special sessions and an impeachment trial, but this one topped it. So who knows what will happen next session. But it's really, I hope that people can be objective about this, and whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you don't do redistricting in mid-decade. We weren't supposed to do this until 2031, because you do the census, you fill out the paperwork, all that data is disseminated to the local government entities and to the state. And then it takes almost a whole session to get redistricting done. And this one was just kind of thrown together, and the process was, took about 30 days. Now, I think they had been working on it beforehand, but if you recall, President Trump called the governor and asked him to put it on the special call for session. And I really wish the conversation had gone a little differently. I wish the governor had said, I've got the worst natural disaster on my hands with the Central Texas flood. I just cannot do that. But it went forward, and there was a lot more time spent on redistricting, unfortunately, than the Central Texas floods. So here we are, we're in a court battle. I was in El Paso over a month ago testifying in the court case. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, a lot of us who live a little further east, we're in a new congressional district, District 9, paired up with Liberty County. The east end is just completely dismantled. And so just pay attention and stay tuned, because more than likely you're going to be in a different congressional district.
We're likely to be in 18.
Yes. Eastwood.
Yes, Eastwood is likely to be in 18.
Yeah, and some of your friends, those of us that live closer to like Lawndale and Wayside, Country Club, Ironwood will be in 9.
Correct.
Okay, I'll pause there and see if you have any.
I have 2 questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let me go turn this on, because hold on. Trying to make sure this is on. Okay, so my first question is, you said that the SB 1555 is specifically meant for overpass, underpass, and pedestrian crossings. Chairwoman Elizabeth Brock from Metro was recently quoted at a District H town hall saying that TxDOT is only going to fund overpasses. And she also said that to me in a private meeting. So I'm glad that you're clarifying that, because is there a way that message could be relayed back?
And I'm glad you brought it up, because I heard that, not from her specifically, but I heard that it came from some folks at Metro. And we checked, and TxDOT said that it was not specific to that. Now, unless something has changed in the last couple of weeks, if I hear different, I will get back to you. But I know we've had a lot of issues on, underpasses versus overpasses, and the whole thing was proposed here that many of us were strongly against. So.
Right. And then my second question is, Union Pacific is proposing a merger with Norfolk Southern. And I'm just wondering if you're able to submit a comment that requests that we have a seat at the table in those conversations, and that Union Pacific does pay for mitigation efforts for the impact they are going to cause. And the reason I bring that up is because they are actively reaching out to elected officials, asking for support for the merger. And they're saying, the message that I've heard so far is that they're telling Houston specifically, there is not going to be an impact, but at their shareholder call a couple weeks ago, they specifically called out Houston as seeing a 10% increase in the next 5 years. So it just seems a little disingenuous of Union Pacific to be telling elected officials that there's not going to be an impact, and then there actually is going to be an impact that is touted at the Union Pacific shareholder calls.
Yeah, you emailed us to think about that. We will sign, it may not be that exact
That's fine.
language, but we're gonna sign something that addresses the concerns. I'm really worried about that, because there's no way that we're not gonna be impacted with more rail traffic.
Yep.
So,
My concern is redistricting. This is where the rubber meets the road, I suppose. Why can't we, as Texans, have an independent council that draws districts?
I couldn't agree with you more. I used to be a little hesitant about it, but now I think it's the answer to what problem we have right here, right now. The legislature would have to pass that. And
The legislature is being redistricted into Oregon.
and what I'm
So,
afraid of,
gotta move back.
you know, elections have consequences, and we do have an election coming up next year. And several statewide offices are on the ballot. And, you know, we're in the minority. We don't control either chamber or the governor's office or any committee. So I think there will be a push for an independent commission next session. Whether it passes or not, I think it will be very difficult, but I think if we can get the public to engage more on that and to be vocal on it, that would be helpful. But it's what I'm afraid of now is that they may do this to our seats next session.
Yeah, I mean, no one's good. That's what the point of this is.
Yeah, well, and we've even heard maybe a special session to address that, so it's, you know, things are pretty dire right now and very extreme and very partisan, so, I don't know when people are gonna wake up and realize all of this has had an impact. And even if we win in court, it'll be challenged by the other side and we'll end up at the Supreme Court, and you see what's been happening there. So,
Yeah, that's why I bring it up.
exactly. But, you know, people need to connect the dots. The Supreme Court is nominated by the president, and this president has nominated a record number of justices. So it has an impact.
Leaning on the court won't do you any good.
Yeah.
They're political.
Yeah, that's my point, is that I hope people realize that, because, you know, we do have an election coming up, and, next year in 28, and if you think, well, presidency doesn't impact me, it's impacting us every day right now. Even, how many of you have been to the flown out of IAH recently? The airport, Bush Airport was just on the news today, on national news, showing the long lines and the traffic coming out the door, and, you know, HPDs had to be called to get out there and try to keep peace. So,
All right, so I'm making a little list of the hands that I see raised. I got Clay first and then Amy on deck. Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Okay, fine. Clay.
she's scratching her head. She's thinking.
So, I know a lot of the folks that I've been hearing from recently in the neighborhood are watching the closure of Polk Street, come up shortly. So it sounds like November 5th is gonna be the date that the road closes, at least temporarily, if not more than that. Is there anything TxDOT can do to weigh in on easing the east to west connection problem, given that Leland is currently closed, and Gowan is closed, and then Polk will be closing as well. I know a lot of that's happening at the city level, but is there anything that TxDOT is having a discussion about to look at the broader picture in the middle of their construction for the North Highway.
Yeah, we can certainly ask them. We had a meeting with Tex Dog and some of the, business owners in the area, because they've had a lot of issues, so we'll certainly add that to the list. Thank you. Yes, sir.
For me, the biggest problem is legal close at 59, trying to get downtown. You're losing at the bottom. It's been holding.
I know, I take that path, or used to, all the time, now I have to reroute.
Yeah, Leland is closed in 2 places right now.
I don't, I can check with your councilman's office.
Getting downtown by fees and that, okay.
It's like they don't have a plan.
All right, well, we're not gonna get into too many of those. We got one more question and then,
Maybe there was all because of fear of what, retribution from folks at the federal level, at the state level, so I would just encourage you to take resolve. I mean, whether it's bike lanes or street closures, I mean, this neighborhood, I feel, we're seeing it at the school district level, at the city level, at the state level, at the federal level, and we need folks like yourself to use your voice.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It is nice to hear that level of support, because, sometimes you just get tired of getting beat down, and, I think we tried everything that we could in the, redistricting battle, but this is something that won't be able to be undone for who knows when, if ever. So, I asked y'all to be mindful, to be informed, to pay attention to what's happening in the news, 'cause what happens with this court case that will have a big impact. Go out and vote tomorrow, organize, talk to your neighbors, and everybody just needs to be much more informed and engaged as we get to the next round of elections, so.
What is your sense of the state's, cooperation with ICE and what do you think would be most effective for us as citizens to do to be advocating for our neighbors who are at risk?
Yeah, we've seen it here. I've seen it in my neighborhood in Idlewood. They've been parked out there. We've seen it at the Home Depot. It's been, in different places in the East End. And, unfortunately, it's, the concerns that we have sent, up to the federal government are falling on deaf ears. But I think people are starting to realize this isn't what they had in mind when they talked about immigration reform and dealing with issues on the border, is to keep calling your elected officials and let them know that you're not satisfied with what's happening. If you have friends on the other side of the aisle, I ask you to call them as well. Because it's one of those issues that it's very partisan. And I know that none of us on our side of the aisle are advocating. We sent a letter to Governor Abbott in regards to the SNAP benefits and asking him to dig into his money, because he's got some money that he doesn't need to go through us to get, like he did for some of the border patrol issues. So we haven't heard back.
and also y'all might have seen it, but Adrian Garcia's office has a Know Your Rights in both English and in Spanish. I grabbed a really thick stack. So if you want to grab a handful and maybe pass some to your neighbors that you feel might benefit from this information, take as many as you want, because I can always get more.
That's important to have, and I know sometimes the Congresswoman's office comes to these meetings, but also your members of Congress, that's a little bit more in their portfolio, but if you get into a bind or something and you're looking for resources and organizations, you can always call our office as well.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're so glad to have you. Okay, so before we move on, I do want to give two shout outs, well, three shout outs, I just realized. We got Marina Guerra from Christina Morales' office, if you want to say hello. You got Juan Pablo from District I. And we also have Maynard, who is our new precinct 2 liaison, so he's coming to hang out with us for the first time. You're welcome to introduce yourself or just wave, it's up to you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Maynard Lainez. So I am the new community liaison from this inner city. So it's a big pleasure to be here and, whatever you need from us, from Adrian Garcia's office, I'm here for you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And then before we move into our business, I just wanted to give any candidates for election 1 minute to say hello. I know that there's one. I just want to make sure there aren't any others. Because we have a lot to go through today. Okay.
Alright, y'all, hey, tomorrow is election day, I need y'all to go and vote. It's kind of freaking out everyone in the county, because so many people have not voted. Now, I have let them know that it is simply that we are being diligent about those state amendments, okay? Now, I would absolutely love for you to cast a ballot for me. My goal is to, what's your name? Let's have it this way. That's a good question. My name is Chris Wright. I grew up here in Eastwood, and I am a former local government reporter. I have reported on 14 different municipalities across the nation, which makes it a lot easier for me to see what is abnormal and what is unique about this city. One of the biggest things that is unique is that we are a very large city with a strong mayor form of government. That makes no sense. That means that all of our department heads report to one person. And that is how we end up getting a lot of decisions that we don't really want, like bike lanes and crosswalks and the like. So that is part of my platform. I also want to incentivize community service, civic engagement, and prioritize entrepreneurship. So go to joinchris.com. That is Chris without an H. I was checking my timer there. And so joinchris.com, Chris without an H. You can also go and visit on IG and TikTok. Join Chris for council, the number 4, and there's a lot more there.
Great.
Does that work?
That works. All right, so Pulani is not here today, so I'm gonna go ahead and deliver our treasurer's report. The total balance as of about 2 hours ago is $33,752.11. Some of the highlights include we had a really productive home tour, which we could probably hear a little bit more about that. And then our next meeting, we're gonna have a celebration. And then we've also got the expenses that do come with home tour. So we had a lot of signage that needed to go out. Our tickets needed to be printed, all of the associated expenses from that. We also had our Edo storage, which is where we store all of our equipment. We paid a full year so that we can get a discount for the entire year, and then some marketing and communication tools that we use to communicate with everybody. So that is what that looks like. And then we got our minutes from
Yeah.
You can just read it out.
Yeah, let me read them out real quick. All right, good evening, everyone. So just a few things from last month. We had elected officials. Yes, we had Chris Wright represented us last time, coming over to talk to us. We had Jordan Thomas and Amanda Edwards as well. We have some updates from people from Polk, as well as from Carol Alvarado's office, Harris County District Clerk's office. There you go. All right, and we had definitely all the committee updates from home tour, beautification and trades. A few things, just wanted to add, we have seen, and I'll tell you from experience, that many of us have tree waste or junk waste in front of our yards. Personally, I'll tell you, I had that one since August. And so please report to 311. Yesterday I went around and I just walked from my house all the way to Lockwood and back. I was walking my dog and I reported 17 reports. So,
Just really quick, I just wanted to
Yes.
elaborate. So just to elaborate on that, I have been going, I get tagged on those and I make a list of them and I send them to Juan Pablo and then he sends them to solid waste directly for pickup. So we've gotten a huge chunk of them done. We're about to add more to the list. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, just wanted to do that. So please, as you're out walking your dogs, meeting your neighbors, report these piles on 311 as missed heavy trash pickup. I'll get tagged and I'll add it to the list. There you go. Sorry about that.
Thank you. We want to thank everyone who showed up at National Night Out. We had about 192 absentees, so we want to thank you all of you guys that showed up for National Night Out. We also, I want to let you know, both the general membership and board director meeting minutes are updated on the ECA's Google Drive, which you're gonna find available on our website. So that way, if you want to go back and take a look at our notes from the past few months. That's it.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, I just need a motion to approve the minutes from the.
One little. One,
Oh,
I forgot,
one more
yes.
before we-
One other thing. Yeah, all right, just, probably going through, they're gonna talk about it, but, me along with, Marisa Rosenberg, we did the bike ride for the home tour. And we wanna thank, it was Magnolia's Ice Cream and, what's the other one? I'm sorry.
Was it Equal Parts?
Equal Parts Brewing too, because they were very, welcoming and they gave us a discount too, and that was pretty cool for all of the riders. Yeah,
Cool.
that's it.
And Equal Parts, I love Equal Parts, so I'm gonna give a little plug. They have a running club on Thursdays and you can also walk and they'll give you $1 beer afterwards. So that's always a fun thing to do. All right, so I do need a motion to approve the minutes from the September general membership meeting. Motion, we got a second from Kyle. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, perfect. Motion passes. Great. So we're gonna talk through, we're gonna go through some updates here. We're gonna start with Trees for Houston, our sustainability crew, and then we'll go through the ECA elections and what the board looks like among project updates and solid waste updates after that. So you ready to go? Perfect.
I'll be here for support.
Here, you wanna take?
Well, the microphone so the folks on Zoom can hear.
Yes. And I can move slides as necessary.
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, we have good news. We received a grant to plant trees in our neighborhood. So that's why I'm here. to tell you.
Hold the microphone just a little closer.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
So yes, and this is in collaboration, obviously, with the Civic Association. Sustainability is an organization that does environmental education and sustainable practices. We were just born a couple of years ago, so it's still a baby. But we got this accomplishment, which is a really cool thing that we can plant. I mean, we receive money to plant trees in the neighborhood, so that's really lovely. And we are collaborating with the Civic Association to do so. But if you want to just go, yeah. And you know, I just said that, so we can go on. So HEB is the one who funded us, and I think it's just important to say that HEB is funding these projects across the city, which is lovely, actually across Texas. I think it's just important to share where does this money come from, who is supporting these wonderful projects, and that's them. There's a little description there. You can go to their website, Trees for Texans, and you'll find more information there. You can go on. So we're excited. And the way we're gonna be doing it is that we're going to plant in 2 parks, the 2 main parks that we have, small parks, that really require more shade. Which one of them is MC Collingham Park, and the other one is the small triangle park, Broadmoor Crashmore Park. So those 2 parks are lovely. They're really important to the neighborhood. They're really neighborhood parks. They're small, but they're not used that much. I don't know if you have noticed that, but I have. And there's very little shade in those parks. There's places to eat, but there's no shade there. The playground is not shaded, so we're hoping that these trees that we plant at some point when they grow, they will provide shade. So those are the 2 places. We are going to be planting around 20 trees, maybe more, we'll see. The plan is 20 for now, and then we have 15 more trees that we're gonna be giving away or sharing with others. But I'll tell you a little bit more about how is that gonna look like.
Okay.
So MC Collingham Park, I don't know how much you can see. here we're planting 15 trees. These are these are native trees that we're gonna be planting there. You can see on Polk Street, there's 4, then in the middle up there, there's 2, this is the area where the benches, the tables are. And we're gonna plant 3 over there, and then on this side, which is pretty open, there, that circle there that you see is the actual playground. No shade, 0 shade. So we're gonna plant, I mean, they get a little shade from the tree on in the front, but really not from this side, which is most of the day. So we're gonna plant 5 trees over there.
If I
Yep,
could add,
please.
If I could just add to, this is Claudia Vargas from Sustainability, and we met through the April Spring Fiesta event, and it was just, they were a nonprofit offering to help us out. We found this opportunity and said, let's collaborate, let's make something happen. One of the things that we did when we did the walking tour of this area is just noticing how hot that playground gets at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when that afternoon sun is beaming down. And we're looking at planting some of these trees that are small enough to be manageable. So here in a moment, we're gonna be doing a call for volunteers and asking if you'd like to help us. These are not big honking trees, but they are young enough to really take root and establish, but then grow quickly. The other thing that you'll notice is that we are kind of further east and further south than a lot of our normal activities as the Eastwood Civic Association, but we are a greater organization that goes all the way past the East Belt Railroad line, and these are some areas that we've been really wanting to branch out. So if you know people who live near these parks who might want to help us out, who have a green thumb, or maybe they just want to get involved, this is one of the many things that we're trying to do to expand outside of this just normal park drive area where we do a lot of our events and really reach out to your neighbors and are really kind of showcase some of the natural resources that we have. And then the other thing is, thanks to the city of Houston and through lots of conversations with Harris County and through sustainability, we've been able to get them to install a new water spigot so that we can water these trees and make sure that they are sustained in a healthy way. And that took a lot of effort to get that water source, but thanks to the city being able to chip in, Houston Parks has approved these plans, so it's really impressive to see it all come together.
Yeah, that was a big one. We were like, oh, God. So we have the money we received is for trees, right, for water for 2 years. The parks wanted us to have a plan for 2 years to take care of those trees. So we're like, okay, let's figure this out. And then we were able to get the city to help. And so we're happy about that. So then the next one is Rodmer Kashmar. It's only 5. It's a very tiny, I don't know if you've been to that park. They call it Triangle Park. It's a very small park. But the same story, right? You see the playgrounds, they don't have shade. So we're gonna plant, it's very tiny, so we're only planting 5 trees there. But, we're still hoping that these trees, as they grow, they will provide shade and become more friendly. And I think what Clay was saying is super important, like, this is not us planting the trees. I mean, I live in the neighborhood. Most of the people who will be coming and support us live in the neighborhood, but this is for us, right, for everybody. So it's kind of in my mind, it's important that everybody kind of pitches in, right? Like, this is our neighborhood, this is our tree, this is our park. And it's like that ownership, right? That I want to see more of. I'm hoping that this little event will have that impact, so like people feel like, no, this is my neighborhood. And I'm pitching in, so, yeah. So, and then 3 additional trees, 4 additional trees, which is kind of cool. So I've been talking to neighbors and asking them, like, well, I see there's all this empty place where there's no shade for a long time as children walk to their schools. And then I went to talk to a couple of people and they said, yes, please plant a tree in front of my house or home or even business. But those are on the street, right? So these trees are supposed to be planted publicly. These are not for residential, these are for everybody. So they agreed to have a few trees planted either in front of their homes and they would take care of them. So they're watering them and taking care of them, and that's a big pitching in. So I'm happy to report that. It's a new development. And here are the, how you can volunteer. So let me tell you, and if you just want to go one more. So there's many ways to volunteer. It's not like everybody's going to be digging and carrying and mulching. There's many ways. You can just be at the table signing with people. You can be passing around water. You can be just having people signing their leases, their liability release. You can do many things. It doesn't have to be only digging holes or carrying trees. So there's work for everybody. So those are the possibilities, right? And you can also help, right? Let's say you cannot go, you're really not interested in going, that's totally okay. It's not for everybody. But you can still share with others, as Clay was saying, share with others, hey, there's this event happening on November 15th in McCollum Park. And then on December 13th is on the Triangle Park. So you can share, if you go in there, you can post, you can share with your network, people, neighbors. So that's the other way you can help. And here we are. The best time, I like this, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? But the second best time is now. So let's just start planting the trees. So thank you so much for listening.
And I want to give a special shout out to Claudia and her team in sustainability for all the work that they've been putting into it. Sounds like a simple thing to plant, 30 trees. There's a tremendous amount of work and planning. It has to go through Houston Public Works Houston Parks Department to approve the plan. You have to have a watering plan. You have to, just writing a grant took a week. But to get $5,000 to be able to spend on our neighborhood is a wonderful thing. And I think it's wonderful too, to point out the collaboration that's taking place between sustainability, Eastwood Civic Association. We have the communications team, put in an application to get us qualified as a 501 organization to get, tool rentals at a huge discounted rate from the Houston Tool Bank. So that money, again, doesn't have to be spent on tools. It can be spent on trees. Lots of good stuff happening here, and we hope to kind of foster that spirit of cooperation. So thank you to you and your team. So we hope to see you join us on November 15th.
Can use the code, but I'll just pass it from around. If you want to take a picture and pass it around.
Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and move into our election information, which is just this time of the year. So we're gonna go through the information here. So what does this mean? We have 4 officer positions and 7 board positions open for elections this year. So to run for board, this is any person, property owner, or business owner who lives within the ECA boundaries. And if you're not sure, reach out to a board member and we can help you confirm that. The election day is officially Monday, December 1st, right here at 6:30 p.m. And any person, property owner, or business owner who lives within the ECA boundaries can vote. So if you are not within the boundaries, you cannot vote for any elected official, any elected board position. So you have to, one of the things that is super important about this is you have to confirm you live or your business is within the ECA boundaries to run for a position and to vote. So there's going to be a whole team dedicated to confirming addresses, and we've got all of them, so we're going to know. So the deadlines here, November 14th, nominations for board are due, which will show you the QR code. This will also go out via email. And then on November 18th, your slate of nominations will be presented via email so that you've got it. And if you need to vote via absentee ballot, then that will be due by November 28th at 11:59 so that we can have time to count everything. And then December 1st is the in-person general election. So when we think about who wants to be on the board, ideal candidates are willing to donate what we call the 3 T's. So that's time commitment. The minimum is about 5 hours per month, but realistically, it does come up to about 15 when you look at membership, board and committee meetings, as well as things like home tour, spring fiesta, and other things that come up. Talents, so skills like communication, organizing, and accounting, to name a few, are needed and sought after by the association. And treasure should come from board members in the form of dues as well as occasional in-kind donations. And I would also just add, it's really helpful to have solutions-driven, action-oriented individuals. So if you really want to make a change, You don't wanna just share ideas, like you wanna be the change. That's what we wanna see. We wanna be like, we wanna see the change. We wanna see more tree plantings. People want more events. We wanna hang out with our neighbors, but this takes time and preparation and care so that we can actually do these types of events and things. So the makeup of the board is everybody is considered a director. However, some directors are officers and have different responsibilities, term lengths and limits. Additionally, the past president serves as an ex officio member and serves without being elected. So right now, we don't have a past president, which is why we have 7 7 director positions. So there are 4 officer roles coming up for election. That's president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And there are 6 non-officer directors. And then usually you have a past president. And if there is no past president, an additional director position is open. That's a lot of information to say that we have 4 officers and 7 directors open. So the full board should be a slate of 11 board members for this particular election. So should a board member resign their position, succession procedures is described in the bylaws. So the officers are 2-year terms and serve a maximum of 2 consecutive terms in one role, with a minimum of 2 years in a particular officer role and a maximum of 4 consecutive years. The non-officer directors serve 1-year terms can serve an unlimited number of times. If you're just a director, you can be voted in every year for as long as you want to run, and as long as people are satisfied with your service. All directors serve from the adjournment of their election meeting, typically December's general membership meeting, until the following election for that position. So our board duties, we are empowered to handle all regular business of the association. Generally speaking, the board is responsible for the routine assembly of organization by scheduling and inviting participation in membership meetings, activities, event sponsorships, participation in the association's financial welfare through fundraising and budget setting. The board can also suggest decorum through rules, recommendations, appoint committee heads, approve letters of support and expenditure of funds. And at this time, members are encouraged to attend general membership meetings and association meetings, things like Spring Fiesta, Home Tour, but are required to attend board of director meetings regularly or face possible removal. So the officer-specific duties are laid out in the bylaws. If you need to go and look at them, you certainly can. They are on the website. President presides over the meetings and generally leads gatherings by setting the agenda, appoints committees, represents or appoints representatives of the association, and also responsible for signing contracts with the secretary. Vice president aids the president in their role and steps in should the president be absent or otherwise unable to fulfill their duty. The secretary generally keeps the minutes and the meetings and reports them at the beginning of the next meeting, maintains association documents, and prepares correspondence, social media, email as required, and co-signs contracts. The treasurer maintains the association's funds, receiving and dispersing monies, keeps track of committee budgets, and makes a report of finances at each meeting. So how to run for a board position? You need to confirm you live, own property, or a business owner within the ECA boundaries. You submit your nomination in the form by Friday, November 15th. Attend the December 1st election, so you need to be here to win, to get your seat. Be prepared to share a 1 to 2 minute speech with general membership about what you want to do while serving on the board. So I'm going to leave this up here in case there is anybody who is especially interested in doing this. We do have some people who want to rerun for election, and this will be all up to the general membership. It'll be up to you on who gets elected and reelected. So I'm going to leave this up in case anybody wants to put their name in. But this is all going out via email too. So if you don't right now, it's totally fine. So how to vote. Absentee voting, you're going to fill out a form letting the ECA know of your need for an absentee ballot. Similar to how we do it now, we try to keep it as clean as possible. If you can't be here on December 1st, let us know. We'll confirm your address and you're gonna receive a ballot to be returned by November 28th. Or you can just come in person on December 1st. Be prepared to share your address to confirm you live within, own property, or a business within ECA boundaries to receive an online QR code to vote, or you can receive a physical ballot. It's completely up to you. So, any questions about this process? Cool. All right, so that more information is gonna come out via email, so just be on the lookout for that. And now I got the time where I just dump all of the information on you, the fun part of the meeting. So I've got the Polk Street is closing November 5th between Charters and Avenida de las Americas. This is permitted work to prepare for the expansion, including the demolition of the ramp that goes behind the GRB and the sky bridge between the garage and the convention center. The second and final vote to close Polk is likely in December. So this is not like the closure. This is supposed to be just the work to help prepare for that closure. If the vote does not pass, Houston First says that they will put it back. So we'll see what that looks like. St. Emmanuel, I'm sure many of you have seen, they're closed in various places due to the North Houston Highway Improvement Project, mostly around drainage. I don't know if y'all have seen it. They are installing very large pumps because, as you know, we're going to bury that part of the highway. So you're going to need those pumps to help get that water out as quickly as possible should there be a heavy rain event. Leland is closed between Scott and Velasco for a drainage project for the incoming apartment complex. There's an apartment complex right there at the Columbia Tap Trail that is, I'm sure y'all remember the big holes that were left in Leland. This is just a continuation of that project. Based on the GEMS website, it's set to reopen the first week of December. Quiet zones are in progress for the Galveston subdivision. That is the railroad line that runs parallel to Harrisburg. Union Pacific, I'm sure you've all seen them out there. They are installing the safety measures required to get a no horn sign. Harris County is helping with this project. 419 Emancipation is a super hub for the unhoused. It has been approved for this specific location. And if you need like a visual to understand what that means, it is right there at Emancipation in Harrisburg. If you know the barbecue joint that's right there, it is just behind that, between that and the railroad yard. This is a low barrier shelter, which is designed to route people in a direction which gets them off the street, and it is set to open in mid-2026. And the Eastern District Sidewalk Project on McKinney, which is on the north side of McKinney between Cullen and Dumble, is at 90% design, and they will come back to us to present this before they actually start work so residents can share feedback and learn more. Am I missing anything big? Yes, I need to breathe. Yeah.
But, you have an estimate on the quiet zone?
That one is, unfortunately, it's not up to the city. So the only thing I can just share is that it was about 12 months from the time that the funds were first released, which was about 6 to 8 months ago. So I'm hoping that it's going to be in the first part of next year, which would be fantastic. I don't know anybody who is going to be hurt by not hearing the horn. So I'm just saying y'all are lucky because the West Belt over there by me goes by 30 times a day and it gets really loud sometimes. So it's gonna be a great addition to the neighborhood.
Could you repeat the order of that Wall Street stuff?
So the Polk Street right now, there are signs up that it is going to close on November 5th. I don't know what time. I'm supposed to go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning, so I'll let somebody know if I see it. Between Charters and Avenida de las Americas, this is permitted work to take down the ramp that runs along the freeway and it goes behind the convention center. It's supposed to take that down and also take down the sky bridge that connects the garage to the convention center. There is a second and final vote at City Council, likely in December. We don't know until it comes up on the agenda. I would just suggest that if you have an opinion on this, in support, in opposition, just want to call something out, just email districti@houstontx.gov, and you can share that. You can just share your opinion in support or opposition for this specific situation.
Yeah, so I would say we do have an opinion. Did we not release
We submitted a letter of concern.
yeah, so what was that?
We submitted a letter of concern, not necessarily opposition. It was mostly about the lack of transparency, the lack of community input. Because if y'all remember like how this all went down, I'm going to do this as my best as I can from memory. The sign went up February 1st saying, hey, this street's going to close. February 17th, Councilmember Martinez came to a super neighborhood hosted town hall. He had very little information on it at the time. March 17th, we had a meeting with Houston First, which people shared their opinions and feedback. I think the general consensus among people is a lot of people are just feeling the lack of transparency is a problem, that things are happening behind closed doors. Things are not coming to the community before decisions are made. So we don't get a chance to provide input on those, whether it's for or against, or maybe just something different. I think that the Civic Association, even the super neighborhood, is not opposed to the expansion of the George R. Brown. So opposing Polk Street's closure is not, it's not against the George R. Brown Convention expansion, because we understand that the convention center expansion can provide real jobs. It can provide more dollars and boost the economy. So we want to see those things. We're hoping that the city would want to listen to us to build something a little smarter that could provide a little bit more for the neighborhood and in the East End.
I agree with everything you just said. However, I must add an opinion from my personal perspective. This is an attack on our neighborhood in and out of downtown.
I think I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with you. However, I do have very serious concerns because every single time I hear we need more east-west connections, I don't disagree with that. However, the proposed solutions I keep hearing are north of Harrisburg. And if we can already access Harrisburg, then why would we go north of Harrisburg? And that's the entire Civic Association. That's my entire super neighborhood. So then that leaves, because y'all have to remember Pierce is going away with the North Houston Highway Improvement Project. So that leaves Pease, which is a freeway off-ramp, and Jefferson, which is a freeway on-ramp, and then Leland. And Leland right now, this is Lindsay just giving information, so take this for what it is. The North Houston Highway Improvement Project shows a southbound exit that is 3 lanes going onto Bell Street. According to Houston First, that is going to move to Leland. Now, Leland is only 4 lanes inside of downtown, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also supposed to be made into a 2-way. And it's also supposed to be the route for Metro. And it's also, according to the Houston First traffic study, is supposed to see widened sidewalks. I don't know how Leland is going to stay 4 lanes, be a 2-way, be a route for Metro, and take a 3-lane off-ramp from a freeway. I don't know how that can be done and still be safe.
It can't.
So that's a Lindsay opinion. Nobody's been able to answer that. TxDOT just held a meeting with Jolanda Jones. She said that they said Polk Street is still supposed to be open. Their map showed is open online. So, yes, I know Lisa's got a lot of information. I'm just trying to share information in a non-biased way as best I can. Sure.
So I think one of the things that's important to know and get on calendar about, I don't have the date yet, is Representative Jolanda Jones is going to be hosting a public meeting with Houston First to come back into the neighborhood to share what they're planning to do. TxDOT has said that Polk Street is a city of Houston issue and that they have no influence on this because it's not their right of way. And Houston First has been meeting with TxDOT in an unpublic venue. So I really want to encourage us to show up when Jolanda Jones hosts that meeting because it may be one of the few opportunities we have to really engage with Houston First. And so far, there has not been engagement with the public by Houston First. So I think we also owe Representative Jones appreciation for getting TxDOT to the table in our neighborhood to talk about this, and also to be able to get Houston First to be able to engage, because we've not been able to do that more locally. So I don't have the date yet, but we'll be publicizing that with the newsletter list, if that's okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Can you clarify the thought that Polk was already going to close because of the TxDOT project?
So there is a lot of mixed information. TxDOT says that Polk Street is to remain open, and it is supposed to have a workaround that was done by Sylvia Garcia and Carol Alvarado. And Councilmember Martinez confirmed that at the February 17th town hall. However, the mayor has said that Polk Street is going to close. That's part of the project. That's the 2 points. You can take it from text dot or the mayor, it's up to you. And I'm just gonna say something, this is just a Lindsay thing, that I've been just really strongly pushing, is this is not the first time we have had something just given to us. And we're a room of very smart people, very intelligent people who love our community. City governments come and go. Boards come and go. The Michael Heckmans of the world come and go, but this is our neighborhood. And how many times has this happened? We've had the Harrisburg overpass that was just given to us. The Metro BRT, whether you wanted it or not, was just handed to us. I think everybody can agree that the communication on that was awful, whether you were in support or in opposition of it. The communication was awful. We had Greyhound just dropped into Magnolia Park. We had Telephone Road changed after we spent so much time getting something that was meaningful to us, was just suddenly changed and dropped on us. We had the Polk Street closure dropped on us. We had 419 emancipation, whether you are in agreement or opposition, dropped on us. And the fact is our neighborhood deserves better. That is how Lindsay feels. So that is not an Eastwood sponsored saying. That's why I need to make sure it's clear. That's a Lindsay opinion. And that is just truly, truly how I feel. Residents in this neighborhood have just dealt with it for far too long, and we just deserve better. And that's all I got to say about that.
No one follow that.
He's listening. He'll take back what he needs to. All right, so solid waste. I'm sure everybody knows that solid waste has been a little bit behind lately. But they are going to have some changes to their schedule. I'm not going to read every word to you, but you can see that there's going to be some changes to the schedule in November to account for the holiday. And just kind of coming back to something Everett mentioned, we do still have some piles. I had piles in front of my house since July. I know the home tour team rented a U-Haul to pick up trash on their own. Apparently there were rats and snakes and nails, and it was pretty disgusting. So please don't do that again. Please don't do that. And if I hear home tour doing that again, I'm going to get very upset. But we just need to make sure that we're doing this. I know the city has purchased 28 new trucks, and they are putting those out into use. They're not blue or green yet, from what I understand. They may not even have the city label on them, but they are out in production. They are white, from what I understand. So just be on the lookout. These are going to happen. These are going to be there. I would download the HTX Collects app, and then that will give you just reminders of what's going on. I will just say that the recycled is perpetually delayed. So we'll just let that be until it just changes. And then also with the changes in SNAP and everything stopping there, I just want to be really mindful that there are residents in our community who may not be able to afford food on their tables. So I'm just sharing this information, whether that's you or somebody that you know and love, your neighbors, please share this information out. Baker Ripley is doing a lot of food distribution. I've got a few others. We can send all of this out too, so don't worry about memorizing everything. And I was just reminded that we even saw that during our trick-or-treating. There were some kids who colored garbage bags and were wearing those as costumes. So, I mean, this is just a reminder that even some families can't even afford costumes, let alone, they're picking food, what they can, right? So we just want to be really mindful of this situation, very real situation that a lot of our residents are in. And we want to be mindful of that. So we've got Baker Ripley's doing November 15th, 20th, and December 18th. There's a whole lot of them. You don't have to memorize them, just sharing that there are faith-based organizations and food pantries that are out there providing food without asking. You need food, you just drive up and get it. So if you know of anybody who needs this, please share this information out. We cannot let our residents and our neighbors and our loved ones go hungry. And just a few more in case anybody wants to take pictures, but again, we can send this out, so don't stress. And then I also just wanted to share this as well. We have lovely people in our organization. The Houston Food Bank is looking for volunteers to just support the increase in number of people who are needing help. So if you want to volunteer with the Houston Food Bank, houstonfoodbank.org/volunteer. So we just want to make sure that we're passing that out so that you can participate if that is something that you want to do. All right. So I do have some good news. Bad news and good news.
Yeah, so we knew.
So the Cape Center is, I've been sharing this at every meeting to make sure everybody knows. January 2026, this is the Cape Center is going to be undergoing a renovation to serve Houston Police South Central Station. Due to the North Houston Highway Improvement Project, the old station is going to be taken away at the end of this year. They are going, well, sorry, not this year, middle of 27, I think. So they're gonna take this place, they're gonna close it down, and they're going to turn it into the South Central Police Station, which is awesome. It would be great to have the police right here in our neighborhood. So we are not going to be we're not gonna come back to this facility after December. We're not coming back until mid 2027. That being said, we are going to be in the Ironworks, Ironworks. It's on Milby Street, 711 Milby Street. They've got a rental space that can hold us all there. It's inside, it's got air conditioning, which is great in the summer. And most importantly, they offer to do this free of charge. So we're gonna get a tour, make sure we understand everything is. So yes, this is really exciting because I can just tell you from my own personal experience, I have been laying awake at night wondering where the heck are we gonna meet? We need to make sure everybody's got a place. And it looks like Ironworks is gonna pull through. So hopefully this will be a fantastic opportunity for you to go tour the Ironworks. And
That's Cameron work.
yes, yes, the original. So for tomorrow, I just wanna make sure there were a lot of hands who had not voted. Make sure that you get your polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Voters can cast their ballot on any of the 700 vote centers in the county. This is a voting center. Baker Ripley is a voting center, so please get out there and vote. I cannot stress this enough. Voters need to bring one of the 7 acceptable forms of ID. Most people just use their driver's license, but there's lots of different opportunities here that you can use, and I'm not going to read them all to you. But if you need to take a picture, you sure can. And I just want to clarify, I think I put this out of order.
One helpful note, you can't look at your phone at a polling location, but you can print out notes. So if you can't remember how you want to vote on all 17 propositions, you can print out a physical paper and mark it ahead of time and bring it.
Yeah, so there is a sample ballot at harrisvotes.com. Highly suggest you print it, do your research, mark it up, and I carried my paper in with me. So you can't have your phone with you, but you can have your sample ballot, you can have your notes. I did the same thing for my mother. I told her where to go do her research because a lot of people were saying, oh, there's not that much on this ballot. I don't need to be there. No, you are wrong. There are 17 constitutional amendments on that ballot. Where we also have the city council at large position 4 because Councilwoman Letitia Plummer is stepping down to run for Harris County Judge. So that position is going to be vacant, so she could run for that. And then also some of us, myself, are in Congressional District 18, so we need to vote for that specific position, which is vacant right now after the death of the late Sylvester Turner. So upcoming events, we got the Idlewood Dog Park grand opening. And this is something that has been in the works for a long time. We're trying to get all of the dogs. There's gonna be a cakewalk. It's gonna be a big party. So please come out November 8th from 10 to 12. There's going to be cake and there's going to be dogs. And I know Rebecca, you don't have dogs? Oh, you do have a dog. Well, then bring your dogs. Or you can just come admire dogs because my dogs are so misbehaved. I'm just gonna go admire them. No, don't suggest bringing the feral cat colony. It is at the corner of Lawndale and McGregor, right across the street from the cemetery. So I highly suggest you come out. Even if you just like to watch dogs, I mean, it's fun to watch dogs play. So I highly suggest just coming out, enjoying it, being a part of the cakewalk. The dogs are gonna be dressed up. There's costumes. It's gonna be great. We got our Eastwood tree planting extravaganza, November 15th from 9 to 12. This one is at MC Cullinan Park, which is right there at Navarro Black Middle School. We have our Eastwood Zoo outing. So those of you with little ones, Councilmember Martinez has donated 20 passes to the Houston Zoo. So we're gonna get people out there 1 o'clock p.m. If you want to sign up for that, the registration is right there on that QR code, as long as supplies last. So we'll get through that. So it just so worked out that the Arbor Day Foundation tree giveaway hosted by the Super Neighborhoods and East End District is also on November 15th. So if we end up running out of trees, you can go pick up some trees over at Kroger on 4000 Polk Street, which I highly suggest because this is a Lindsay goal. We just need more trees. We need more trees in our entire civic association, our entire super neighborhood. So if you're able to plant just one tree this year, that would be epic. And then also we've got Harris County Precinct 2 is hosting a nursing home adopt a resident. So if this is something that you want to do, you can email amber.castro@pct2.actx.net. They really need to do something about that email list to get a wish list of your nursing home resident, and the gifts are due by December 5th. So we got our voting for tomorrow. I know, got a lot going on. We've got South Central Pit meeting. I know that we've got our two faithfuls that will be there. We got, and then also we've got our super neighborhood meeting on Wednesday, November 19th at the Magnolia Multi-Service Center. It's always a good time there. And then our next ECA meeting is December 1st, right here for elections. So, all right. Uh-oh.
It's one of our two ifs. The fifth meeting for November 15th has been canceled. They're not gonna have it.
Okay. I don't know if y'all heard that, but the South Central Pit meeting has been canceled. So
I don't have December yet. They haven't told me yet, but I'll find out about that. But November 15th, no meeting.
y'all might like going to the East Side Pip if y'all want to go to that one. That one's on the Monday before. It's a good one. I'll share the details. They say 2024, sorry, my bad. But that's it. So it is 2025, just in case y'all were wondering, I'm tired. So December 1st, 2025 is our next meeting, and that is it for today. Sure.
And November 22nd, there's going to be a massive collection at NRG, an organization called We Got Us, has partnered with just about half of Houston, so City of Houston, Harris County, the rodeo, all of them. And there's gonna be a massive collection of food and necessities. Details are coming, but follow We Got Us on Instagram. That's usually where she starts first, giving out information, and I'll try to make sure I get Lindsay the information in WhatsApp as I get.
Cool. All right. I will call this meeting adjourned at 7:42. We like it when they end early. Thank you. Whew.